Chapter 4 Superstructure in Deep Space. I walked out of the room and went to the corridor with the portholes to try and clear my mind. I looked out the window for some cosmic encouragement and noticed that something was very different. Earth was missing. I ran down the other side of the corridor looking to see if it was there, but what I saw nearly floored me. The ship was docked to a huge superstructure with hundreds, if not thousands, of similar ships as the one I was in. The docked ships on the megalithic structure looked like the stubble on my unshaven face every morning. The structure was several thousand feet in each direction, and I could not see where the structure began or ended from my vantage point. Michael, the portholes are movable, as you learned earlier during your failed escape attempt. Just move one to a spot above you or below you so that you don't end up straining your neck. I can't reach the ceiling, so how do I move a porthole to a spot above me? You are in space, where gravity is optional. Give yourself a boost with a little upward push using your toes. The gravity in the ship is equal on the ceiling and walls as it is on the floor. You can walk on the ceiling and walls if you so desire. I did as Milton suggested and floated to the ceiling and positioned a porthole directly above where I was standing. I then realized that the ceiling now felt like the floor and the floor looked like the ceiling. Now I'm totally confused, Milton. Where is up and where is down? And where the hell are we? I don't see Earth anymore. Where is Earth? Just when I think I'm getting accustomed to this crazy stuff and enjoying myself, all the rules are changed and my mind is forced into higher leaps of strangeness. Where have you taken me, Milton? Making higher mental leaps is progress, Michael. Anyhow, in space, there is no up, down, or sideways. We took a little trip while you were watching the movie. We are now a few million miles from Earth and near to the star that you humans call the Sun. This ship is parked on the dark side of a mothership, or space station, if you prefer that term. I was standing on the ceiling and looking down through the porthole rather than looking up. Man, I was confused. I saw a gigantic slab that radiated a yellowish glow from the structure. The glow was approximately a 700-foot thick film that projected from the dark slab object. The yellow layer acted to camouflage the structure from Earth and blended perfectly with the backdrop of the sun, according to what Milton told me. The structure itself was pure black. The pixels that made up the glowing skin were spheres about the size of a house and spaced equally apart in a huge matrix-type grid. I could see the other ships parked in the gap between the structure and the glowing skin. The gap was about 1,000 feet wide, and the ships attached to the structure clung to it like strawberry seeds on a strawberry, slightly embedded into the superstructure. I jumped in slow motion to the floor, grabbed hold of a porthole, and slid it to the spot below me. As far as my eyes could see was more of the same superstructure. This appeared to be a space station without end and speckled with numerous pod-like ships. How big is this thing, Milton? And what the heck is it? It's big enough, and as far as what it is, you will find out as much as you need to know shortly. By the way, Michael, the portholes move via telepathy. Give it a try next time you want a better view. I was afraid you might say something like that. I am teetering between ecstasy and madness, and you keep adding straw to the tired old camel's back. What makes you so sure I can handle all this stuff? I can't even think straight, and now you suggest that I can move portholes with my mind? Don't blow gasket just yet, Michael. We have quite a ways to go today, and I need you to remain mentally intact if at all possible. Certainly I'm pushing info at you without giving you time to assimilate it via the normal human rate. I need to discover at what rate you can handle new and exotic concepts. That is exactly what we are going to find out, Michael. You must remember one thing. Everything is simply information. There is no magic, only perception of magic. For instance, there are people on Earth that have no clue about microwave ovens or how they operate. To them, microwaves are magic. Whereas to others, that magic is a device used for cooking food. Same object, different perceptions. Now, go back to the hallway with the doors and look for the green door and enter it. I walked past several doors, all white, and came to the green one. I hesitated going in because I knew there was probably another mind blender behind it. I took a deep breath, opened the door, and walked through it. What lay before me nearly brought me to tears, again. I had become a maudlin fool during the twists, turns, and the turmoil of endless mind games, not to mention the sheer awe of what I experienced that morning. I could not help it. I had seen the face of God and lived. I nearly passed out from the absolute, unadulterated, and sinful delight. The sun, as in solar, encompassed a large portion of the view of the monstrously large glassed enclosure that was the superstructure. The glass took up the whole front of the massive spaceport, which overflowed with the glow of the sun. Every detail of the sun was visible, yet there was no heat or blinding glare. That was amazing because it was as if we were near the surface of the sun. The enclosure looked to be several hundred stories high and equally as wide and deep. It appeared to be a perfect cube, but no way for me to tell the size or shape because I could not see the whole structure. Thank you, Milton. I owe you big time for this one. How can I possibly ever return the favor? Is this what heaven is like? Is this heaven? Have I died and gone to heaven and you are showing me around the place? Is it possible to top this one experience? I can hardly conceive of anything more beautiful. I feel complete. What more could I possibly ask for in life? Hate to burst your bubble, Michael. This is nothing compared to the whole picture and the endless wonders throughout this Milky Way galaxy. If that is true, why then are humans kept in the dark ages of ignorance about such wondrous things? We believe ourselves to be on the cutting edge of space exploration with our pathetic little probes to Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and the rest of the planets. Yet, from what you have shown me in the last hour or so, space has been explored and conquered eons ago, and humans, for the most part, remain ignorant and oblivious to apparently everything. Earth is a playpen for some humans, and a prison for others, Michael. Millions of similar planets, such as Earth, exist throughout this galaxy. The majority of the people on them have blinders on also, just as humans on Earth do. But, on the flip side, there are millions of planets that are utopia grade, and the people and entities on them live blissful, content lives, unencumbered by wars, famine, natural disasters, death, hate, and envy. What is this thing, this massive structure out in space? What possible purpose could it have so near the sun? And most importantly, who built it? It was built by machines many millions of Earth years ago for the purpose of entertainment and as a transportation hub. Millions of Earth years ago by machines for entertainment and transportation for whom? Humans have not been on Earth that long. Are you saying there were people on Earth as far back as that? This structure was built for people like you, Michael. And yes, there were people on Earth millions of years ago who visited this place, as you are doing now. I feel so special. Pardon my sarcasm, but why not let the rest of the human population know about this place, and the fact that the human types have been on Earth apparently forever? What harm could it do, besides make them start twitching like I'm doing right now? No answer from Milton. I was standing on a balcony that overlooked a large, open-glassed atrium. The balcony was one of hundreds stacked and staggered on top of each other at approximately 30-foot intervals. The material of the structure looked metallic and futuristic, and not something built or created millions of years ago. The glass facing the sun was one solid piece, one tremendously huge plate glass window. The balcony appeared to be hundreds of stories up. Above me were several hundred more balconies. That place was immense. Additionally, there were large outcroppings on the side facing the glass, each with unique and grand views of the atrium and the sun. Balconies were docked platforms that could detach and move about the atrium. The verandas had quaint street markets and cafes built onto them. Exotic plants and spectacular varieties of colorful and fragrant flowers adorned the verandas. Some of the plants had ripe fruit dangling from robust branches. Sparkling waterfalls hung in midair and dropped hundreds of feet into floating ponds, drifting around the atrium like hot air balloons. If there was a Garden of Eden, it must have looked like this. Am I right, Milton? Gardens of Eden make up the majority of existence in this galaxy, and the countless billions of other galaxies chock full of planetary systems. Edens, with every kind of advanced life imaginable, and more so unimaginable, exist throughout the universe. Does anything excite you, Milton? You sound so blasé about all this while I'm running around like a dog in heat, trying to soak in the few morsels you drop off the table. Nevertheless, banquets fit for the gods. No answer. Milton then materialized onto the balcony a few feet from me. It was like a scene out of Star Trek. He was in his scary-looking alien costume, but I was not fazed as I was the first time I saw him that morning. Milton caused a platform to open up around the balcony we were on, and it swallowed the balcony. The larger platform engulfed the balcony like a larger fish consuming a smaller one, and the platform jetted out 500 feet into the atrium, carrying us out with it. The platform remained attached to the structure or building, or whatever the huge complex was. Bakery-type shops overflowing with pastries and other scrumptious delicacies surrounded the open plaza with a European Renaissance theme, cobblestones and all. Without the fear factor, Milton's appearance seemed more familiar and natural to me, more so than my human associates back on Earth did. I felt as if I had known him for a very long time prior to that morning. However, I could not quite comprehend our relationship, because most of it remained blocked in my mind. Once the platform came to a stop, Milton looked at me and telepathically asked me, "Are you up for a stroll through the marketplace, Michael?" I don't deserve this, Milton. I have done nothing in my life that merits me having this fantastic experience. I almost feel ashamed. This has nothing to do with deserving or not deserving something, Michael. This place is here, and you are here to learn a few things. Nothing more. I am learning to love this learning thing of yours, Milton. The fresh-baked bread, pastries, and the delightful aroma of brewed exotic coffees spiced up the air. What was there to learn? These things were here for enjoyment, not for pondering over by small human minds like mine. Besides, my mind was basting in the juices of enchantment, and I did not want to spoil it by giving myself a pondering headache. Milton walked towards the shops, and I followed him like a cheerful puppy, wagging its tail, anticipating more treats. I perused the assortment of decadent delicacies in the market like a child in a candy store. My eyes were bulging and my mouth salivating while Milton remained nonchalant. What a contrast we made. The shops were void of people, aliens, and androids. We had the whole platform to ourselves. All that food just for me, because Milton wasn't eating any of it. That did not seem right, but who was I to argue? The platform was a personal, cozy corner of our own little piece of heaven, or mine at least. I took a plate from the stack of plates on the buffet counter, selected a few items, and filled my plate with them. I poured myself a steaming hot cup of coffee, and I sat down at one of the tables. Milton took nothing and sat opposite me. The opulence was not much different from a fancy hotel at a pricey resort, but infinitely bigger and more lavish. Moreover, it boasted a front row seat to the solar system's greatest show, the sun. Milton, is this all real, or are you creating this in my mind? It's all real, and only a small sample of the stuff the universe is filled with. Still, mind over matter is real. Can I create this on my own, Milton? Use the Force, Luke. Actually, no, not while you are in human bondage, and not until you have moved up the ladder of existence. The thing about mind over matter is that we are not talking about human mind over cosmic matter, but cosmic mind over cosmic matter. We can talk more about it some other time. It really is complicated. I assume because there is food and beverage here that there are bathrooms? No bathrooms. The food and drink are mostly for pleasure, with some nutritional value, but zero residuals or waste. Everything you eat and drink will dissolve completely in your system. Bathrooms have other functions than bodily plumbing, Milton. We humans use them to freshen up, like splash water on our faces, wash our hands before we eat, comb our hair, straighten our tie, and tuck our shirts in. And we can look in the mirror to make sure something isn't stuck between our teeth after we eat. There is no need for vanity and freshening up for people in our possession. And should you get something stuck in your teeth, Michael, you can be sure I will tell you about it, because that just grosses me out. Maybe you should be a comedian, Milton. I saw what appeared to be thousands of similar craft like the one we rode in. Ships docked to the face of this colossus of a structure. Are they also carrying human cargo for the same reason you are? Which, by the way, I remain clueless to what that might be. About 30% of those vehicles carry human cargo from Earth to this place. The rest are a mixture of hybrids, humans, and other life forms from Earth and other planets, moons, and space cities, which are scattered throughout the solar system. There are some intergalactic beings here as well. Why don't I hear or see others on this platform or in this place? Where are they all hiding? Are we alone on this platform, or are they invisible to me? Platforms like this one are personal and private and harbor no other entities, whether they are invisible or not. However, there is an area, a town, inside the structure where humans and other entities mingle. Would you like to go there now, Michael? Without me having said a word, the platform separated from its moorings, dropped several stories, and then joined with a larger platform, fitting into it like a missing piece of a puzzle. Our platform with its shops incorporated seamlessly into the larger structure and became one with the larger plaza. People were walking on the cobblestone streets, peering into shop windows, sitting at tables, talking, eating and drinking, as if they were at a typical Earth mall. The setting was similar to any number of shopping districts in large cosmopolitan cities. The exception was the unmistakable contrast of entities such as Milton and freakish-looking hybrids also milling about the place. I had quit speaking verbally to Milton sometime after we entered into the superstructure because I felt like I was talking to myself and became self-conscious about doing it. I noticed that none of the other humans on the plaza verbalized their conversations in the public areas, and therefore I was justified in keeping my mouth shut.